Fire doors are in pretty much every building where we work, live and sleep, and most people don't give them a second thought. That's until they're the only thing separating them from a potential life-threatening catastrophe. I'm going to show you how fire doors work, the importance of correct installation and maintenance, and how to check your own fire doors for safety. We'll also do a fire door burn test to show you how the features that you'll be checking can mean the difference between life and death. Here we have two near identical doors. From the outside we can see very little difference. But one of them is safe and one of them definitely isn't. You might ask why I'm so sure that one of these doors is going to be able to hold back a fire for longer than 30 minutes. Well, that's because it's been made by a BWF certified manufacturer, it's fitted with all of its compatible components, and it's been certificated by an independent third party who regularly test the complete product system and audit the manufacturers. So as long as I've installed and maintained this door correctly, then it will perform in a fire. It's going to hold back a fire for in excess of 30 minutes. Think of fire doors as highly complex life safety systems. The door itself is made of a timber core with lippings and a decorative facing front and back. Although the timber door is key to performance, it simply won't work without the other compatible components like the hinges, door closer and latch, the intumescent seals and the frame. In a fire, because of the enormous temperature and drafts created, the fire door comes under forces that can cause it to move. All of these components work together to keep the door securely in the frame, with the intumescent seals expanding and filling the gap between the frame and the door. Other components, like fire-rated glazing systems, air transfer grills and letter plates, are fitted into holes through the fire door. And if they're not fitted correctly with compatible fire-rated components and additional intumescent protection, they become the most vulnerable parts to the fire. Usually, cold smoke seals are also fitted to either the door or the frame as either brush or plastic fins that will fill the perimeter gap of the door when it's closed. They delay the spread of poisonous cold smoke around a building, keeping escape routes clear. You might think that I'm going on about the detail, but it really matters because in a fire, every tiny detail and every split second counts. Door number 1 has been properly installed. I've got the correct gap all the way around and my intumescent and smoke seals are complete with no breaks in them. I've used intumescent filled fire-rated glass with the correct beading, intumescent edge protection and fixings in place. My fire-rated letter plate has been fitted in the right size aperture with the compatible intumescent sleeve inside and fixings, and the air transfer grille at the bottom of the door has been fitted with its intumescent block inside it that's going to swell up and fill the hole. I've installed this door in accordance to the manufacturer's recommendations. I've used the right fixings and the right packers, but crucially I've also used the right fire stopping materials in the gap between the frame and the wall. This gap is often really hard to inspect on site because it gets covered up by the architrave, but if it's not done properly, it becomes one of the weakest links. This door has exactly the same fire rating, but I've introduced some faults that I commonly find on site. I've only got 2 hinges, they're non-fire rated standard hinges, and I've got excessive gaps between the side of the door and the frame. I haven't included any intumescent or smoke seals, and I've got a non-fire rated letter plate installed. Underneath, the air transfer grille doesn't have the intumescent block inside it. And I have used fire rated glass in the panel in the door, but I forgot to put the intumescent edge protection around the side of the bead. Above the door in the fixed fan light, I've got a non-fire rated panel. Now we're going to simulate typical test conditions at this accredited laboratory and compare the performance of these 2 doors. Okay, let's start the test. As soon as the test starts, the furnace behind the door raises the temperature to far in excess of what would be survivable. At 3 minutes, you can see the intumescent interlayer expanding in the glazed areas. This means that the intumescent seals around the edges of the door and the intumescent protection in the letter plate and grille are also expanding, sealing all the gaps and holes. But without this protection, the left-hand door starts to allow smoke to billow through, and at just 4.5 minutes, the fire breaks through. This door has now failed before we've even got to 5 minutes. At 5.5 minutes, with sustained flame breaking through, this is where the test would normally be stopped. But we need to carry on so that we can continue to test the correctly fitted door. At 9 minutes, the architrave, which was the only thing protecting the gap between the frame and the wall on the poorly fitted door, begins to fall away on the fire side. This allows fire to wrap around the edges and start to attack the frame and the door. At the top of the door, fire is breaking through the non-fire rated fixed panel and is starting to burn the wall. As a technician tests for radiated heat transfer through the unprotected glazing system, the letter plate has melted and now falls off. We're going to have to slow this down a bit. Fire has now taken hold of all parts of the poorly fitted door. The fixed panel is completely engulfed, the frame and door edges are burning away, and the hinges have become detached, allowing the door to fall inwards towards the fire. As we hit the 30-minute mark, just compare the two doors. The poorly fitted door, without the correct, incompatible and non-fire rated components, failed after just 5 minutes, but the correctly fitted and maintained door on the right is still holding back the fire. If you're worried about your fire doors, here's 5 quick checks that you can do that will only take a couple of minutes. And while they cannot replace a proper inspection by a qualified specialist, they can highlight any immediate problems. Number 1. Look for labels or similar markings that show the door is certificated. Number 2. Check that the door is marked correctly with the appropriate signage. Number 3. Ensure the door or frame has the combined fire and smoke seal and that the door closes correctly, with an even gap all around of about 3 mm. Also check the door closer is fitted securely. Number 4. Check the fire-rated hinges are fixed firmly into the door and the frame with no missing screws. And number 5. Make sure the door is not damaged and never wedged or propped open. If you have any concerns at all, contact your landlord, the person responsible for your building's fire safety, or the local fire brigade. If you are responsible for fire doors in the buildings that you own or manage, using fully third-party certificated complete product systems, ones that are fitted with all of their compatible components and installed by somebody who's competent to do so, does help manage your risk. But this is only part of the story. A thorough and robust inspection and maintenance regime, one that's underpinned by full traceability back to the original fire door certification, is absolutely key to making sure that fire doors will work when it really matters. For more information, visit bwfcertifier.org.uk or firedoorsafetyweek.co.uk.